Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's boardzy, and this is going to be a review of the Pulsar Feinmann F01, Pulsar's latest release and magnesium ergo mouse, and maybe the first mouse we've seen without a charging port. It's really Pulsar's version of this trend we've seen, which is just making a premium version of one of your popular shapes, but this does actually separate itself, and what makes this interesting is they're calling it the Pulsar XLITE 1.5, where it's a little bit larger than the Mini, but it's not the size of the medium, which I just couldn't find. So it's not really going to be the size of an EC2, a Vaxi E1. It is a step down on size from that. Similar in hand to the Death Adder V3 Hyperspeed, just in terms of size. I don't know why camera's not doing me any favors. And another option if you want a magnesium ergo mouse, along with the WL Mouse Sword X and the Ponage Stormbreaker. Okay, I actually did find my Pulsar XLITE V3 ES, and you can just see how much bigger it is than this XLITE 1.5 size that the Feinmann is. So this is going to be, I would say, the small medium end of ergos, because the XLITE Mini, that's really the smallest ergo I know of that's popular at the moment, and this is a bit larger than that. So shape-wise, yeah, it's not exciting. I'm kind of bored of being bored by EC clones, and this is another one, but it does really feel good at the 46 gram weight. And yeah, to put it simply, if you want the lightest EC Mini, this is currently going to be the best option on the market, I feel. But me, I'm somebody who is used to ergos around 10 grams heavier. I really don't have any problem, especially using them on glass mouse pads. I don't feel like I really gain anything performance-wise from using a lighter and smaller ergo, but that's kind of the beauty of Pulsar. They have so many different versions of the shape. If you prefer a slightly heavier mouse, you can get the XLITE V3 ES. The esports edition. If you just want the standard cheaper version, you can go with the XLITE V3 or V4 Mini. So, you know, Pulsar gives you a lot of options. They don't force the $180 mouse on you, but this is still one of, if not the most expensive ergos on the market. So price is definitely something you have to consider unless you just have an unlimited budget and you just get every magnesium mouse that drops, which seems to be a lot of people. In that case, you know, go for it. But really, one thing that I'm just kind of opposed to on principle is these holes, like just the massive amount of holes where you're going to be making palm contact. But I can't say it's really bothered me in game. Like with WL Mouse, I do say that that bothers me. Like Ponage, this coating combined with the side slits, I don't like that. But really, with the solid sides and just having my palm rest on the holes, it didn't feel bad. It was mostly an afterthought. So I will say that, of course, if the mouse would weigh the same and just be plastic, have no holes, I would probably prefer that. But yeah, with the magnesium, there is obviously very good sidewall integrity. The coating of the mouse itself, it feels very nice. It's not as grippy as WL Mouse's skin coating, but yeah, definitely one of the better non-plastic coatings I've felt. So yeah, in terms of coating and just the sidewalls construction, I really don't have anything bad to say. Perhaps the fact that they don't have a charging port maybe made things a little bit easier to do. I did have one totally random quality experience. I don't even know if you guys are going to be able to see it. I'll just throw a picture up. So yeah, pretty much on the click pieces, there are these screws on each of them, and for some reason, the one that's on the right click piece actually fell off like mid-play. I did not slam the mouse. This little screw that you can see right there. The only reason I didn't put it back in is because I actually really enjoyed these stock skates, because I feel like they gave the mouse a slight element of control, whereas if I just had like really fast dot skates, it just would have been too fast and not very enjoyable, because I am of course still forced to use glass pads. But yeah, if you're wondering if losing that screw affected the click quality, not really. If I really force like side to side movement, you will hear like a little bit of slight grinding and popping, but I would not say it's really realistic. And in general, the clicks, I wouldn't say they're perfect, but it is the kill optical switches. It's my first time using them, I believe, unless some other mouse used them, I can't remember. And they do have this very like poppy, almost similar to like a fake Japanese Omron switch feeling. And when you combine that with like kind of aggressive comfort grooves, I don't know, my fingers just feel like they get kind of like deep locked into the switch, and I get kind of like a nice pop. So yeah, I just want to say click quality and design is like revolutionary, top of the market. there is a good amount of pre-travel on my right click, and that might be because of that screw I need to put back in. But yeah, just in general, they aren't the lightest clicks. I would say they're a bit closer to Razor optical feeling than the former Raisha opticals that Pulsar had used. But yeah, I'd say the click implementation's passable. They certainly feel spammable. The rebound isn't super slow like it tends to be on magnesium. Yeah, I just can't say I was blown away, and it seems like Pulsar has some hesitation to Omron opticals when I just really think that they provide the best optical click feeling on the market. That is just personal preference. And you can see this coating does like pick up moisture, but I don't know, that just always happens like when I record videos, not other times. Maybe I'm just fucking nervous. But yeah, if you do have like super sweaty hands, this won't be good, and I don't think any magnesium mouse really will be. And yeah, one completely random thing is I did find this shape to actually work pretty well for fingertip for an ergo. Like, this would not be my #1 choice, but especially with the comfort grooves on the clicks, just the sides being pretty unobtrusive, I was able to get like solid finger placement, and it didn't feel too wide. Meanwhile, with the X-Lite mini size, I just have trouble placing both my ring and pinky finger on the right side, so there is a bit more room for that on this Feinmann, the X-Lite 1.5 size. So yeah, for fingertip, I think it's all right as ergos go, but in general, this is obviously going to be a claw or palm shape for just small hands. And yeah, honestly, I'd say maybe up to 19 by 9 centimeters, you'll probably be able to find something comfortable on this mouse. With really large hands, I just wouldn't recommend it unless you already know you like mice in a similar size range. But yeah, personally, no matter what variant, I've just never been a huge fan of the X-Lite series. The side buttons, I've never loved them. They are a bit high in terms of positioning, but in feeling wise, they're pretty good, spammable, and I actually did not have many issues like accessing them in Fortnite. So yeah, similar to the main clicks, I don't think the side buttons are really like inspiring or something the market is going to try to copy. It's just kind of like the X-Lite side buttons, except implemented on a magnesium shell. The scroll wheel, they do have the aluminum scroll wheel. That's just like Pulsar's thing. You gotta commend them for it. It feels nice. It honestly does feel nice to scroll. I've kind of come around to it. At first I was like, I don't see the benefit, but now I understand it's a novelty. It's just something different. And yeah, on that same note, we have some true innovation, which is this mouse's dual charging dock and 8K polling dongle. Simple as that. You just slap it on the dongle and then it's charging. No USB-C. They don't even fucking let you think of it. There's just no charging port on the mouse, which is kind of crazy because, you know, if this seems like a possible failure point over years with like grime accumulation, but maybe not, and there is a 2-year warranty, so if it ever does happen, you know, you can just get a new one. But yeah, unless not having the port allowed them to achieve something structurally, I just don't really see the benefit. But, you know, if you're a fan of the charging dock, just plop it on there at really any point. And yeah, obviously you cannot use the mouse while it's charging, which is a big loss for some people. But, you know, it's not like Pulsar doesn't make other mice that have charging ports. So that's really all I gotta say about that. This is also my first time using Pulsar's new sensor, the 3950 equivalent, but with a higher polling rate dongle, because the X2H I got, it was limited to 1K. And yeah, Pulsar's implementation feels really good, like smooth, buttery, fluid, just all the good words you can say about a sensor. And yeah, I'm not gonna lie, most mice nowadays do, but every so often I'll get in like the MCHO's L7 Pro, which has a 3395, and I just run into all sorts of like hitches, sensor inconsistency, like polling rate not being stable. So yeah, my experience with this using 2.4, 1K, it was all very solid. The battery drain did seem to be sort of quick. I don't know what percentage the mouse arrived at, but within like 2 days it was blinking red, which it does at 15%, so that's just worth mentioning. But you know, as always, you can just plop it on the dongle. Simple as that. But yeah, really, in conclusion, I feel like this is a pretty experimental mouse from Pulsar. Their first non-plastic mouse, obviously not having the charging port, just doing a lot of different things. But I do think at $180, this is definitely a niche offering. I'm going to hold off on the seal of approval because for expensive mice in the current mouse market we're in, it has to be something that I'm going to consistently use, which I just know this won't be. And personally, I strongly prefer the Vaxi E1 at $140. Even though it's plastic, it's a bit heavier. I do think it's just a truly higher quality offering, and it's an ergo and EC clone that I really enjoy. But yeah, really it all comes down to what you value. If you enjoy magnesium, you don't mind the holes, you want the lightest weight, the Feinmann's definitely one of the best small ergos on the market to consider. The Sword X is around $25 cheaper, magnesium a step up in terms of size. It does have a few flaws, but in general, it's probably a better bang for your buck. It doesn't have quite the premium unboxing that the Feinmann does, but you still do get in-box extras. And compared to the Stormbreaker, I just feel like it's kind of outclassed by the Feinmann. It is a much newer release, but yeah, Stormbreaker is $10 cheaper. And yeah, if you guys have any other questions or want comparisons to other ergos, feel free to let me know. But this being a mini ergo, it's definitely not like my favorite mouse, the most exciting to compare between. Yeah, I just don't feel like it really holds a candle to some of the sub-$100 ergos value-wise, but that's obviously not what this is meant to compete against. So yeah, that's going to be all. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Let me know any other questions. And yeah, Pulsar Feinmann, not a bad mouse.